Hello everyone, this is Hillbilly Heath, and I know what you're thinking. But Hillbilly, you've already done a review on the Rat Model 2. Yes, I have. But this review isn't about the Rat number 2. No. This review is about its big brother, the Rat number 1 in D2 tool steel. The reason this wasn't in my budget EDC list is because the D2 model is $40. The AUS 8 model very well could have been. Another reason I didn't put the Rat 1 in my list, it's a little big and heavy for everyday carry. Originally it weighs a little over 5 ounces, and like I said in my everyday carry video, that's a little heavy for me. I prefer closer to 4 or less, closer to 3 actually. So that put it way over the limit in a couple categories there. So that's why I didn't have it in that list. But I want to talk today about this model with the D2 steel, which is a huge upgrade over the AUS 8 that the Rat 2 has. And I'm waiting for Ontario to make this model in D2. I'm waiting and hoping and praying that happens. Come on, Ontario, make it happen. But we're going to talk about this model today and a few modifications I did to it to help out in one of those categories that I was talking about. Like I said, this is the Ontario Rat Model 1. The blade length is 3.5 inches, a little over 3.5 actually. You probably got about 3.5 inches of cutting edge. Like the Rat 2, you have a lot of belly. Got the same textured handles. Got a little bit of jimping on top here. Same 90-degree spine that can be used to strike a ferro rod. This is the Rat 2 20% bigger is basically what this model is. Actually, this model come out first, so this one's actually 20% smaller. But I mean, the blade, the handle, they're exactly the same, just 20% smaller than this one. Look at the number of pillars. In the Rat 2, you got 1, 2, 3, 4. In this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 20% more. So the liners are about 20% thicker, if you can see there. The pocket clip is about 20% bigger. I mean, they just took this knife and shrunk it down 20%. And usually that doesn't work very well for a lot of knives. When you've got a bigger knife and you shrink it down, usually things don't work as well. But in this case, it worked very well. The D2 tool steel holds its edge a lot longer than the AUS 8. I have heard that the D2 is a lot more, or not a lot less, I should say, resistant to rust. I haven't had that issue yet, and I do live in a high humidity environment. I don't use this knife for a lot of food prep and that type of stuff though, so I haven't had any issues with the D2 yet. I do keep a light coat of 3-in-1 oil on it, and I use this mostly for camping and backpacking and that type of stuff. The handles on this are great, feels great in my hand. I got plenty of room. It's just a great woods knife, and for $40, it's really hard to beat. But I want to tell you about some modifications that I did to this knife, and in order to do that, I'm going to have to take it apart. So let me move the little guy out of the way here. Put him off camera, and bear with me as I take this apart. In case you're wondering, that is a T10 Torx for the pivot. All the rest of them are T6s. When Ontario came up with this design, or Randall's Adventure Training, the same people that make Essie knives now, it was great. It's brilliant. I mean, that's a pretty basic design for the blade. I mean, it's been made over and over again, but still a great design, and they made a great knife. Now, the one drawback to this knife, and this is pretty much unanimous around the knife world, if you watch reviews on this knife, everyone's big drawback is its weight. And that was mine as well. I love this knife, but those were solid liners in there, and that's a big chunk. And I'll show you what I did to help with that. Oh, notice anything? Let me get this apart here without cutting myself. Those are in there pretty good. Come on. Come on. Maybe if I do that, let me close it. There we go. Okay. Notice that? Oh, don't lose the washer. Oh. Hey, let me talk about something real quick here. Inside here, there are two sets of washers. You got your bronze washers that lay against the liner, and a Teflon washer that goes on top of that sits against the blade. That's why these things open up as smooth as they do. I'll set this little guy out of the way here. But I took a Dremel tool with a little disc, little sanding, grinding disc, and just ground out a big chunk of that stainless and reduced the weight. I'm going to say I took an ounce. I don't have a set of scales, so I don't know exactly, but took an ounce off of this knife, and I really like carrying it a lot more now than I did, because it's probably right at 4 ounces. Like I said, I don't have scales, so I don't know exactly if I get that weight. I'll post it in the comments below or in the video or something, and let you all know for sure. But did that on the non-liner side. Move the blade, get these other washers, set them over here. And I just oiled this up yesterday, so still got some oil on it. And that's what I did to the liner lock side of the scales. Drilled some holes here, 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 and then just took a section out here. So it really lightened it up. So I just wanted to show you guys that, so in case you're interested in this knife, but you're kind of not pulling the trigger because of the weight, this is something you could do. It's relatively simple. I will tell you, it's a lot easier to use the Dremel and the grinder than it is the drill. Anybody that's tried to drill stainless steel before knows that's no easy task. I went through a couple drill bits doing just those 4 holes there, and I really wish I hadn't put that hole the farthest forward, because I wasn't thinking, and that's actually the lock pin for the knife. And same here, this one might be alright because, you know, all the force is going to be this way, but I kind of wish I'd left that hole out. But you know, I'm not going to baton with this knife. I've heard stories that you can but you know, the regular model that hasn't been modified, you know, I'm sure is plenty strong. The only issue you might have, you might bend that lock bar right there. But you know, I've heard stories of people batoning with these. You know, I wouldn't do it myself, but you know, I guess it can be done. But I'm just going to do, you know, simple bushcraft little tasks, carving, maybe some food prep, maybe, you know, just little stuff at the campsite, making kindling for firewood, shavings, feather sticks, that type of stuff. You know, that's mainly what I'm going to do with this knife. If I'm going to do some heavy batoning or real heavy use in the woods, that's why I carry another, you know, a fixed blade with me. You know, I got the big brother of these two, the Rat 7, and I'll show you that real quick. How about that? Basically the same blade design. But you know, if I'm going to do some heavy duty use, I'm going to use this knife. I'm not going to use one of these two. But just wanted to show you guys that, and you know, if you're interested in this knife, I say go ahead and get it, even with the 5-ounce weight. It's a great knife, and you're not going to beat it for the price. For $40, a D2 tool steel knife of this quality, and you know, it's awesome. Very few companies do that anymore, and Ontario is one of the few that can give you a lot of bang for your buck. So I'd like to thank everyone for watching. Be sure to like the video, follow me on Instagram. Thanks everyone, have a wonderful day.